coming off of a season where the Pistons lost 28 straight games and ended up with just 14 wins, I think all Pistons fans are just hoping and praying that we could somehow see some kind of improvement this offseason, whether it's in the front office or whether it's the team itself. And so far, things have looked pretty solid. We're going to go through a few things today, and we're going to talk about how the Pistons are changing this team and what they're going to do to try and change this team around. We're going to start with the front office changes first. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at Trajan Langdon, the new GM of the Detroit Pistons, who was the GM of the Pelicans for the past few years, and you can see very good track record, all 30-plus win seasons, including 49 last year. Drafted Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels, Herbert Jones, Zion, and Jackson Hayes. A very good track record for this guy, and I'm really excited to see what he brings to us. I like the vibes that I'm getting from him, and I think that he's going to end up being a very good GM. He's got a good track record as well. JB Bickerstaff, the new head coach, a guy who had a couple good seasons with the Cavs, including, last year being, I think, the 4 or 5 seed. I like this guy too. I hope that he comes in and makes a difference. Now, to the NBA draft we go, where the Pistons took Ron Holland as well as Bobby Klintman, and 2 very good prospects here that I don't mind the picks here. We're going to start with Ron Holland here. You can see some highlights of him. He played for G League Ignite. He averaged, I believe, about 19 points per game. He is a very, very similar prospect to Asar Thompson. Not a great shooter, but a very good scorer. He can score from, not a great shooter, but he's good at scoring. He's good at attacking the rim, and he can shoot from 3, but I think he shot like 20% from 3 last season with the Ignite, and that's not great, right? We want to see that at least at 33 to 35 head into his rookie year. I hope he can get it up. Asar, he was very inconsistent. He would have games where he could hit it, and then he'd have some where he just couldn't hit anything. But a very good defender as well. This is a guy who's 6'8", very athletic, can probably play the 4 spot if you want to have a small 4. But overall, just a very good prospect that I think could end up making a difference on this team. Now, I didn't love this pick at all at first because I think that drafting a wing when we just got Asar Thompson last season, just it isn't clicking in my head. And then you go and get Tobias Harris. It's like, okay, we have 3 guys there, and you have 2 of them that are basically the same player. What are we doing here? Now, if you run Asar and this guy at the 3 and 4, and you have them on the court at the same time, cool. But we still need shooters, and we didn't draft a shooter. And that's what kind of ticked me off. But at the same time, I love the player. I love the prospect. I just don't know if the fit was right. Overall, I'm going to give it a B, and if he shows up in Summer League, I'll give it a B+. We're going to move on to Bobby Klintman from Sweden, a guy who, when we drafted him, I hadn't really heard of who he was, and I went and watched some of his highlights, and I love this pick so much. I think it's a very underrated pick in this draft. I think it's one of the best second-round picks that we've ever made because this is a guy who was expected to go late first round. You get him, pretty early second, pick 37, and you also, in that trade, get, 2 or 3 additional second-round picks. Love it. I absolutely love that, and I like this pick as well. A 6'9", 6'10" guy who can shoot from anywhere on the court. Very good defender as well. If he is able to translate to the NBA, I could see him starting in the future. And a guy who just excites me to watch. A very good athlete, very well polished when it comes to offensive skill. Defense, obviously, continuing to get better, and he's very good at it. So, honestly, a guy who, maybe he goes in the G League this year. I don't really know. A lot of second-round picks do. I don't think he should. I would rather see him stay up and be a backup power forward. This is a guy who is very versatile, and I really want to see on the team this year. Ron Holland, man, I really hope that he fits on this team and that he can turn into a great shooter as well. And Bobby Klintman, I think, could be a future starter. Love both the picks and the players as well. Free agency. The Detroit Pistons, not much available. So who do the Detroit Pistons really have out there that we could go and get? Well, we went out and we got Tim Hardaway Jr. and we got Tobias Harris. And those are 2 guys that I think are very good additions. Now, so we'll start with Tim Hardaway. I love this. It was actually a trade we got him in. We got 3 second-round picks out of it, which, those are nice to have. And Tim Hardaway Jr. to me is he's basically an Alec Burks. He's an Alec Burks that can dunk and can defend a little bit better. And that excites me because, he might not be as good at 3 shooting. He's only like a 35-36% 3 shooter. But, man, we just need a spot-up shooter, and that's what he is. A guy with championship-level experience, a guy that has many years under his belt and is going to be able to mentor guys on this team like Sasser and Ivy and Cade. I love this pickup. Now, more than likely going to be a backup shooting guard, and he's probably going to play alongside Sasser and be one of those first guys off the bench. I don't think he's going to start over Ivy unless Ivy's playing like shit. But I think overall, great addition, and I think that this is an addition that we needed, was a backup guard with a lot of experience. We don't really have much on the team now, and I think Hardaway is a guy that could completely lift up this offense that struggled a ton last year, and I really hope he does because we need it. Tobias Harris, obviously, a lot of you probably know him and recognize him. That's because he used to be a Piston. Now he's back, and I didn't love the contract we gave him, but I thought the fit was pretty good because we needed a wing that could score, right? We needed a wing that could shoot, I should say. Asar and Ron Holland aren't shooters yet. They're going to transition into them eventually, obviously, with JB Bickerstaff and our new GM, Trajan Langdon. Hopefully I'm saying his name right. They have good track records of improving three-point percentages of teams. Very good track records at it, actually. They've turned players that can't shoot threes into very good three shooters, and that, to me, is very exciting. And I hope that he can do that with the guys on our team. Tobias Harris, though, solid three shooter, about 36% throughout his career, and last year as well. And he can get up there. He can dunk and score from anywhere in the court, and a decent defender. Not much. He's really not the greatest defender, but again, we have Asar and Ron Holland for that. A guy who could honestly probably start at power forward this year, which I kind of hope he does because we need a guy like that alongside Cade that can score from anywhere. And I think that's why I love this addition so much. Of available guys that we could have gone and gotten, I think it was between him and Miles Bridges. I would have loved to have Bridges, but I think this guy kind of fits our scheme a little more, but I still really wish we would have got Bridges. That would have been awesome. But either way, love both of the additions in free agency. Really hope Ron Holland can turn into an offensive threat, shooting wise, and just continue, if we do start him at, power forward, small forward, whatever, in the future, perfect. And if he turns into a great offensive player, I love that pick. I just need to see the fit and show that, he can play, alongside Asar, and even, if he is a backup, that's fine. And, I think that's a good pick, and I love the player. Just hope he can turn into an offensive weapon, and I think he will eventually, and I love the pick. Other than that, not much else to say. I'm glad to be back. It's been a while. I've been in Europe the last few weeks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one. Peace.